Friends, welcome in. Happy holidays. It is time for Dirty Air, and we're doing it live on the Dirty Air Racing page as well as on Racing America. You can also catch us on the RPM Multimedia Facebook page as well afterwards, and dirtyairracing.com, RodneyRodriguezSports.com. Guys, welcome in as we are, what are we? I keep losing track of when Christmas is this year because Monday, it's a Monday. So a little odd timing with all of that, but definitely wanted to get another show in tonight simply because a lot of reasons, obviously. We're going to the holidays, and I know that things are kind of slowing down. I talked to a lot of folks, and they're like, well, here we are at the end of the year. I think racing kind of goes away. It's like, no, it really doesn't. I mean, racing never stops. I mean, we are, there's racing going on next week, for crying out loud. And, on the asphalt side, by the time we get into January, New Smyrna's you're going to have the red eye. And before we know it, we're going to be doing the World Series and all of that. So it never stops. But, wanting to get one more show in before the Christmas break, simply to tell you guys Merry Christmas, because that is so important to me. It's a great holiday right there for everyone. Just a good time to spend some time with those that are near and dear to you guys. The spirit of giving, it's really nice to receive, but at the same time, it's I take a lot out of giving, and that's something I think that folks should kind of keep in mind. As always, the show presented by Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet GM Performance. Speaking of that, coming up here in just a few minutes, going to talk to Adam Stewart, Great Racin USA. That's a series director there. Of course, we saw the news break a couple of weeks ago. It came out at PRI that Rogers Dabbs GM Performance, Brandon, Mississippi, now taking over the title sponsorship right there. Pretty cool stuff right there. That is really cool right there for Rogers Dabbs to be a part of that. And, of course, my friends right here in Texas, it is On Demand Shirts. These are the folks that are going to take care of you if you are looking for all of your gear as you go into the brand new racing season. I think it is so important right now for racers to get your merchandise, to have that in mind and have all of that put together. My man James Cole, who was at Snowball, him and Joe Armandia. Really good folks right there. Check them out on Facebook, On Demand Shirts. Speaking of that, I talked about this on my Texas show on Monday, but On Demand Shirts, they have been doing a lot of cool stuff. Of course, I'm sporting the polos right here. I was wearing these over in Pensacola, but let me give you guys a little look at what's coming here with Dirty Air. These are the brand new dropping. I think I posted these. These are the Dirty Air T-shirts right there. Take a look at that right there. It's got the Dirty Air emblem with my goofy-ass name right there on the front side. But here's the really cool part on the back side. On the backside, take a look at that right there, guys. That's my life right there. You've got a Pro Truck on the top side. You got a Dirt Modified right in the middle. And you got a Pro or Super Late Model on the bottom side. Dirty Air with Rodney Rodriguez. These are the on-demand shirts. James Cole and the great folks out of San Antonio. Of course, you got the emblem right here. I'm all jacked up here going the wrong way. On-demand shirts right there. So really cool stuff. If you want one of these, once I get out and about again, because I got really sick after Snowball. I would love for you guys to tell me who else went to the Derby and felt like hammered cat shit that next week. I know my man Alan Dietz did. I talked with him afterwards, and he was not feeling the best. I think we all caught the Snowball fever. I know that a lot of folks talk about when you come back from the Tulsa or for the Chili Bowl, a lot of folks get sick. I think this year that's what happened with us at the Snowball this year. On the show later, after I talk to Adam, one thing that I do want to talk about, because I do want to reflect, I did this on the Revved Up show on Monday. I do kind of want to go back and reflect a little bit on 2023, some of the highlights, some of the lowlights, whatever you want to call it right there. And it really is okay to point out when I use the term lowlights, I mean, it's like things that we can work on to get better. Because I think that's really the one thing that we need to do in this sport all the time is continue to do better. I know a lot of folks are beating up on streaming and all these other things. And I will, before I talked to Adam. I do want to touch a little bit on the Gateway Dirt Nationals. I know I was pretty vocal on the old Twitter right there, and I appreciate all you guys checking in with me when I get vocal like that. I did enjoy the presentation. I really did. I mean, I thought that it was a really good show right there. That was put together. Flo as well, did a really good job, with all they were doing right there. Brandon Shepard over Ricky Thornton Jr. In the super late models, in the modifieds, Drake Troutman, or Mike Harrison. Just good racing right there. Once we finally got there, geez Louise, it was like, you're sitting there waiting, and it's like, I know I was talking to a lot of folks, on the back and forth, and folks that were actually there at the Dome, and it's like, man, it's great here. And I'm like, well, I can tell you where I'm sitting, it sucks. I mean, I'm just sitting here waiting for shit to happen. And that's typically what happens in situations like that, to where you get those big events, and it's like, come on, man, let's get going. But, I don't, and I never meant in any of that to be, frowning upon what was going on there, because it really was a great presentation. It was, I mean, when you got a car count like that, and that's a lot of what you talk about when it comes to racing like that. When you have those kind of car counts, you have that kind of leverage. Leverage is a big ass word, and it doesn't matter whether you're a series or you're a racetrack. When you have that many cars and you have that many people that want to go to your show, you've got an upper hand. And you can do that. I mean, if it takes a little bit of time, I mean, you are afforded the opportunity to do that, and that's totally fine. But that's where it comes back around to where you get the whole back and forth to, versus being there versus watching at home. And, I mean, I do invite you guys. I mean, as we go into 2024, the calendar's fitting a turn here pretty quick, and streaming is great. I work for Racing America. I do stuff for Pit Row TV, Racin, Texas. I mean, a lot of different streamers that I'm a part of. But I do invite you guys. I mean, please try to get to the racetrack, because that's where, in the situation like this, where I'm going with it, is you really can't beat being there in person. And that's the one thing that I was getting from a lot of folks, at the Gateway Dirt Nationals. It's like, dude, you can sit here and piss and moan all you want, but I am here, and this is state-of-the-art fun right here. We are having a really good time, and that's the main thing. I mean, that really is the main thing. Being there in person, being a part of that, I mean, that's really the cool part, and that's what we need to remember as we start moving forward into 2024. The main thing is to be able to get to racetracks and be able to do fun stuff, because watching it on TV is a good thing, but being there is one thing. I've talked about it a couple of weeks before. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet GM Performance, my partners, Brandon, Mississippi, they are, the presenting sponsor of this program. Now, the title sponsor of Crate Racing USA. What a big deal that is right there for them, and for Rogers Dabbs and Crate Racing USA. I mean, that is top notch. On the hotline right now, it is the series director, and this is a very busy man. It is my man, Adam Stewart. Adam, how are we doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, my friend. Thank you for taking the time. Number one, I was just sitting here talking about, I think I got snowball fever after coming back from Florida. I mean, you've been dealing with that too, man. Everybody's sick right now, aren't we?
Yeah, we on top of having Crate Racing USA, we own a racetrack as well. Mm-hmm. And I had a private test session the last couple of nights, and got out there in the cold, and we do dirt, so that's a little different. We have to get in the water and that kind of thing. So I'm not sure if that just complicated things, along with about 27 degrees the past couple of nights, and just a little under the weather. But we're going to take a few days off and get ready to get over that here.
No doubt. Adam, we can talk about the partnership there with the great folks at Rogers Dabbs and GM Performance, but talk a little bit about Crate Racing USA. I mean, that is man, you guys, very familiar name. Kind of talk about what you guys do, kind of the territory and everything that is covered with Crate Racing USA.
Yes, sir. So Crate Racing USA began, this will be the 20th year coming up, was the first series that ran Chevrolet Performance crate engines as the only source of power under the hood of race cars. And brought affordability back into racing. Engine prices for super late model stuff had gotten really out of control, and it's a cost effective. It's built and sealed at the factory from Chevrolet.
Mm-hmm.
We don't allow any expensive parts or anything. It's all Chevrolet parts. And over time that brought some cars out of the weeds back to the racetracks, and got some guys that were on their way out of the sport that are still in it 20 years later as a result of the Chevrolet Performance Circle Track engine program. And, in order to keep those engines in cars and our racetracks viable and cars at the racetracks, it takes great partners like Chevrolet Performance and the folks at Rogers Day Chevrolet who, they work on their pricing to stay on top of that and keep the racers coming to the racetracks, because it's we're all in this together. Yep. They work to keep the racers going to the racetracks. The racetracks stay open. We're able to offer rules and point fund monies to those racetracks, and we cover mainly the Southeast for the most part right now. We dabble into the Carolinas, North and South Carolina, some Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, into Louisiana. And that's our main footprint, but our goal is, with signing with Rogers Dabs, is to expand that footprint even further.
Yeah. Adam, in that you kind of touched on something right there that, I'm a past racer myself. We had a family-run team. The affordability part, and that's what I like so much about with GM Performance. I mean, that really does. With the crate program, it kind of scales that back. I mean, I know that guys want to go, do the house-built stuff and have all the horsepower and all that, but, man, I think that, number one, the affordability part, but at the same time, when you have a crate program like this, man, it enhances the racing because you've got guys that are, more or less on the same playing level when it comes to getting on the racetrack.
It does. The old saying is you can't outrun cubic dollar. And that sort of takes that out of the equation. So you take a guy that's working 9 to 5 that can afford a $60,000 wide bore engine to go super late model racing. Well, now he can work 9 to 5. Him and his buddies and his neighbor go work in the shop. They have the same capabilities of winning a race on Saturday night at their local racetrack as a guy that's got a full-time team, because it's under the hood. We're all dealing with the same horsepower there. Yeah, no, I think that's something super important to kind of bring that back and just kind of level the playing field right there. You talked about some of the along the Southeast right there. Talk about some of the spots that Crate Racing USA has kind of tapped into at this point. You mentioned it. It's the longevity of the series is definitely right there. Kind of talk about some of the staples and the places that Crate Racing USA has kind of made their impact up to this point. Yeah, we're very blessed to have some racetracks that have been on board since the inception of the series. Talladega Short Track in East Tioga, Alabama, is one. It was the first sanctioned racetrack. Had some of the first races there, and just to be transparent, that's the racetrack we were fortunate enough to purchase back in the middle of 2021, as it's so integral to not only our program but racing in this part of the country. Then we go over the state line into Mississippi to Magnolia Motor Speedway, Johnny Stokes, Why Not Motorsports Park at Meridian with Rodney Wing, got Jackson Motor Speedway, Hattiesburg, all that core of Mississippi racetracks that, some people will say that the crate engines save racing at a lot of those racetracks. Yep. We move into Georgia. We have a touring series where we travel throughout the country, the southeast part of the country. Our car counts are right in line with the big 2 super late model car counts. So a lot of people really enjoy seeing a lot of cars in the pits, draws fans. You got a lot of drivers that, have their own fan bases that, in our region, that we go in there and the fans enjoy the show. And with everybody being pretty equal, the racing's really good as well. Yeah,
that's right, and that's a big deal. I do want to ask you, because I always talk about it here on Dirty Air, and thank you for taking the time to be on with me this evening live. Put that racetrack owner hat on. I know a series director and all that. I mean, that's one thing, but put that on. I always talk about the plight of the promoter and the damn track owner. Shit, people need to kind of lighten up right there, because you guys are the backbone of this. You don't have to do this. I mean, you're doing this for the racers.
We're very fortunate that we get to do this, and if we can pay the bills, we're very happy.
That's it.
I have to wear many hats with being a race promoter, a series promoter, racetrack promoter, all the different things. So I tell everyone, as a series promoter, I look at the racetrack promoter, and if the racetrack isn't there, we're not going to be able to race in the Walmart parking lot very long before the police show up. So
that's right.
We have to take care of our racetrack promoters to make sure they stay viable and are able to stay open. And they risk a lot of money, and a lot of times it's not a lot of gain. I wear the promoter hat. We have a go-kart track we run on Friday night to foster people into our stock car program on Saturday night. And there's a lot of weekends we go over there and we work just to say we done it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the love of it, and it's those little things that make all of those weekends add up at the end of the year. And as long as we're able to keep improving and keep the facility up, then it's worth doing. And it's there again. It's love of the sport. We love what we do. I come from there. I was a fan. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anybody in racing. Didn't come from racing. I bought a ticket. Worked in the concession stand and run the scales of the go-kart track for $35 a night. That was my first job.
Wow.
So to be able to own that place 20 years later is really it's the American dream. I tell everybody of the story. So,
mm-hmm.
But it's a love affair. It's a love-hate relationship sometimes.
Oh, man.
But you got to love it or you wouldn't do it at all.
Labor of love, indeed, my friend. It is one of those things. I've quit this sport so many damn different times, and it's like you keep coming back to it. So, Adam, let's talk about the new partnership right there. I think what I really like about this, I mean, obviously, with Rogers Dabs, with the new partnership there is obviously there's a point fund there, but the good thing is with the races that are going to be intact, I mean, I like the pay down. I know in Texas we struggle with late models. I mean, it's a hell of a thing right there to where it may be, $2,000 to win and $500 for second. I mean, that kind of sucks. But Crate Racing USA, it's a good pay down, and at the same time, you've got a really good point fund that's in place as well for folks that are going to be on the tour.
Yes, sir. We're very fortunate and blessed with, our partners, Chevrolet Performance, and then Rogers Dabs Performance coming on board in 2024 and forward. It's something that the racers are able to go run for decent money.
Yep.
And with that decent purse and money, they're able to accumulate points. And we have both the touring division and our weekly series where if a guy can't go on the road, say he owns his own business and he can't get off on Saturdays, he can still go to his local racetrack. Mm-hmm. And we're fixing to announce an increase in that weekly point fund as well. And, it's to give back to those racers who support what we do, who bought into the program. And, we see a lot of Dolly Parton purses, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And,
top heavy,
so yes, very top heavy. So we try not to do that. It's, everyone needs, one guy wins, mm-hmm. and everybody else has got to be able to get to the next race. So that guy needs to be rewarded for his win, but we also need to take care of the guys and girls that, need that fuel and tire and entry fee money to move to the next race.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Adam, is there a chance with Crate Racing USA? I mean, like I talk about, kind of the struggles here in Texas with different things right there. Is there a chance for expansion right there? I mean, obviously you guys are doing a great job along the southeast over there, but I mean, is this something that could maybe broaden itself out and maybe, kind of enhance itself, for some other territories?
Absolutely. We there are several programs in place. We have different divisions. We have a street stock division, a modified sportsman, a 602 late model, and the 604 late model division. And in the past, we had done some racing. We had a few racetracks in Texas, and unfortunately, most of those have been shuttered, and it sort of withdrew us from there a little bit. But we definitely would love to see, our reach go back into Texas and help with the late model class and, super late model racing. And I'm a fan. I'm a super late model racing fan. Mm-hmm. We run some big super late model races at our racetrack. I attend a lot of them, but for it to make sense for most racers, this is our thing, and it's just as good a racing, and sometimes better. Some people are going to boo bird me about that, but, it's great racing. It's competitive. And it's saved late model racing at many of these racetracks where it had went away.
Yeah, no doubt. So obviously, as we start diving in, like I was talking about right before you came on, no rest for the weary. I mean, you guys got the hangover coming up at 411. I mean, you got the Winter Series. I mean, it's go time once again, right? I mean, obviously you've got the racetrack there that you're working on, but man, it's go time. It's time to get back after it for 2024, isn't it?
Everybody talks about our off season, and I talk about our off weeks.
Yeah,
we have about 2 weeks.
Yeah, so, that's right. That's right.
You're building schedules. You're doing rules. You're taking care of your sponsors and new partners, and and you're doing all of that. And you got to take a day or two off to keep everyone in the family happy for Christmas, and then you race New Year's, and it starts the month of January where you're essentially gone every weekend between. The Ice Bowl, after hangover is the Ice Bowl, then our banquet and promoters meeting, then followed by Volusia and East Bay. You catch a couple weeks off, you go finish up the winter time at Southern Raceway. It's just a revolving. It never stops. You may not be working at the race shop just like on your race car, but you're working on getting your sponsors in place and ordering parts to get ready to race. So it's a intensive thing for everybody, and even in the off season. That's
right. And those dates right there that Adam's talking about on the 30th of this year is still in 2023. You've got that 411, the hangover on the 4th. Talladega Superspeedway right there with the Ice Bowl, Volusia, followed by East Bay, and then Southern Raceway. Oh, Adam, man, this has been a great conversation. I'm looking forward to being a part of this with you guys. I think it's going to be a great partnership. Thank you all for letting us be a part of this. And, man, let's do some really cool things. I think we can really blow this thing up and make it even better here as we continue moving forward.
That's our goal. We enter these partnerships, and in a partnership, both sides have to benefit from that.
That's right.
And we're very fortunate for them to come on board, but we also, it's easy, and a lot of racers are guilty of this. It's easy to take that little check from somebody and take the money and run, so to speak. But you got to reinvest into that partnership so you're able to continue that down the road. And, I want to see us expand our footprint for Rogers Dabbs into Texas, back into the Carolinas, moving north. That's the whole purpose for making those agreements and partnerships. And I really think there's a lot of things we can do great together.
Yep, I think so as well. Thank you for the time, my friend. We will talk soon. Let's do this again. We can do it throughout 2024. And best wishes. And you guys have a great holiday. Enjoy your week off, my man. Enjoy your couple of days off.
I greatly appreciate that. And I appreciate you having us on. Anything we can do, we're excited about our going forward, and anything we can do to promote, good racing, Crate Racing USA, Rogers Dabbs Performance Parts, Chevrolet Performance. We're all on board, and we appreciate you having us on.
You got it, man. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you bet. There he goes, Adam Stewart, and that is the new partnership that we talked about. It was broken there at PRI with Rogers Dabbs, diving in as the primary sponsor, as the title sponsor of Crate Racing USA. And like he's talking about right there, like Adam's talking about, I mean, this is not a brand new series that is dove in right here and is being a part of this. I mean, this is something where it is a very established series right here. And I can tell you, just looking at this, I mean, I'm very familiar with Crate Racing USA. And the whole thing is, I really think that it's a really cool thing for late model racing along the coast and along the southeast right there, to where what this really does, and I'm take the affiliation of Rogers Dabbs out of this. One of the things that you always run across, it doesn't really matter the division, doesn't really matter the series, is the affordability part. And what this really does is it hones it back. I mean, it equals the field. I mean, there's always going to be, a situation to where somebody's going to get the upper advantage somehow with whatever they may be doing. But what I like about this is the reach that is possible right here. And I do challenge. I mean, whether it be in Louisiana, whether it be in even parts of Georgia, maybe the lower parts of Georgia, especially here in Texas where I'm at, is for tracks to get on board right here. Because like Adam was talking about right there, it's not, and this is where dirt racing is so competitive, because you got IMCA, which, I mean, that is a staple, guys. I mean, when you look at the way that sanctioning and series and all that, the way that shit's put together, IMCA, man, they wrote the fucking book on that. I mean, there's no other way to do that with what they do. I mean, they are so great at what they do. Now you got USRA down here in our area, you know, that has kind of tapped into that, and there's different. The weird thing for me is like when I went up to Mississippi. To Jackson, you know, for the big race in July, I think it was. I went and I saw those factory stocks versus what our factory stocks are in Texas, which our factory stocks in Texas are full-blown freaking almost IMCA stock cars, so to speak. But I really think that this is a great opportunity, and for Rogers Dabbs to dive in here. And I do want to talk about Rogers Dabbs. I mean, obviously, a great part of the program right here, Rogers Dabbs, Chevrolet, GM Performance, best inventory that you're going to find in the country. I mean, whatever you're looking for, whether it's parts, whether it's those crates, the sealed 602s and 604s like Adam was talking about right there, it's going to be the best price in the country, and the inventory levels are the best as well. So if it's something that you need to get a hold of these folks. Message me directly. Hit me right there at that email address, rodney@rdc123.com. If I don't have the answer for you, which I probably don't, I will get it for you, because I promise you, it's all about affordability. It's all about making that really is the cool part about with the crate program. Like Adam was talking about, it's the affordability part, and trying to get this hone this back to where folks are able to do this at a more competitive level. It doesn't matter what the division. Great stuff right there. Adam Stewart, Crate Racing USA series director right there, and lots of cool stuff coming up. You guys stick around. We'll close this thing out. The show presented by Rogers Dabbs GM Performance, as well as on-demand shirts in San Antonio. I'm sporting it right now. I've got my polo on. How about a word from my great friends at ODS? All right, back in this bad boy back down. That is on-demand shirts. Check them out on Facebook. They will set you up. All right, guys. Happy holidays. Enjoy that time with the family. Get ready for racing season, because like we were just talking about there with Crate Racing USA, I mean, they're firing off. They're going to get through Christmas, and then boom, here they are right before New Year's, and then firing off once again with the Winter Series. But like I was talking about earlier, I mean, even on the asphalt side, I mean, it is time to go. And those schedules are out. I mean, I have already seen Southern Super Series, obviously the ASA. That one is out there, the Stars. You've got a lot of local racetracks that have already dropped their schedules as well. So all of that is there. And just kind of, you know, closing thoughts here as we get ready to round out the final show here with Dirty Air of 2023. I'm assuming it's going to be the final. You never know. You may get a pop-up. You may get a pop-up that happens here, but we'll just speculate that this is it. Let's take 2023 for everything that we had. I know on the super late model side, you know, we had a lot of, you know, you had with Southern Super Series, with ASA Stars, with SRL, with Ricky and those guys. I mean, you had the competition right there, but it really seemed like with that it was. I don't necessarily think that, well, I know that those series were not trying to work together, but the racers found a way to make that work. You had a lot of guys that you saw them in all of those series, figuring out ways to work. And with those, you had middle of the week races and all that, and you had, with SRL, where you had some of those middle of the week races, and guys were doing that, and they would find ways to get to the weekend to the ASA stars, and that's great. I mean, that's great, because I promise you that shit is not cheap when those guys are doing that. For pavement racing, the one thing that I've really learned this year, and this is in large thanks to my man Phil Whipple over in Maine, and certainly thinking about him, man, those guys have been dealing with some weather stuff over there this past week. But the one thing is, I mean, model down south, kind of model what they do up there. I mean, when you look at, Oxford, and when you look at the different racetracks over there, I mean, these guys are they're ripping this shit up middle of the week, and they're packing the stands, and they're doing this in such a great way, and you're getting some of the crossover right there. That's one of the things I think you can probably go back in the Dirty Air archives where I've been talking about, where you have some of that crossover, and that's great. I mean, that's really the good thing, is where you see that happening, to where you have different regions that are crossing over and being a part of different races and different series and all that. I will tell you that I think in 2024 that it is going to be a transitional year for dirt tracks. I mean, kind of in dirt track series, kind of talking what I was talking about with Adam right there. You've got series like that are trying to go in and reduce costs and do things right there that are going to try to make it more affordable for the racer. For the guys like you and me that. We want to get out there. We've got regular jobs, and we want to go race on the weekend. And I think that's the main thing, where you got to hone that back in and get those guys involved once again. Like Adam was talking about there is, I mean, go find the guys that have the cars, and guys and ladies that have the cars sitting in the garage, or have it sitting on the rack or whatever. And you can produce something that's going to allow them and want them to get back on the racetrack, and that's the other part of it. I mean, you can structure and you can build things that are for those cars that are parked, but it's got to be built in a sense to where it's, number one, economically enticing for them to get back out there. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. I see a lot of series to where it's like, okay, we've got this series that it's for the common guy. It's for the cars that have been parked for a long time. But shit, by the time you get done, it's like, yeah. You got guys stepping down or whatever the case. And it's like the guys with the cars that are parked are sitting up on the rack or sitting in the weeds. They're like, no, it's not worth it. We got to get those cars back out, and we got to get those drivers back involved. So I think for dirt, obviously, something that we're going to follow, that I'm going to follow, is now, talking about with what we have right there with super late model racing on pavement. Now we're about to run into that with the World of Outlaws and sprint car racing, because now you've got the midweek series right there that is now expanding, and they're doing charters, and they are very much following what the NASCAR model, and doing things there to where they're trying to entice people to be a part of that. And you've got, this is where I say it all the time, and I do this all the time on Dirty Air, is to where you're putting series and drivers head to head. You're causing them to make a decision. Which way do you want to go? I mean, I love with the new sprint car series. I love what they are doing. Yeah, I mean, I love that model. And I think that some of the things that I've seen kind of on the mainstream stuff is where it's like, this is great. Well, you know what? This is what NASCAR does with charter, but that's dumb. So be that as it may, whatever the case with that. So it's going to be very interesting what happens moving forward. But I think the bottom line is, number one, like I was talking about, get to a local short track. Go out. Guys like Adam, take that series director thing off. Dude operates a racetrack. So many promoters, so many track operators that you find. I can tell you right here in Texas, they don't own that piece of dirt. That piece of dirt can be more valuable tomorrow than it is right now. And that track operator, owner, dirt owner, landowner can say, you know what? Screw that shit. I'm losing my ass with that thing as a racetrack. I'm dumping it. This is where you got to love on the promoters. You got to love on these series directors that are going out there and doing this tireless These guys are servants. These guys and ladies are servants. They're doing this for us because this is what we enjoy doing. If you have the opportunity, I don't give a shit where you are in this country or Canada, because I know that this show has a damn good reach. And I thank you all for 3 great years right here with Dirty Air. I'm not signing off for good. I'm just saying it's been 3 really good years. Get to a racetrack, man. Get on out there and see this shit in person. Looks really good on TV, like I was just talking about. When you stream it, when you hit one of these great streamers that have made this such a really easy way to watch racing. I mean, I would have never thought as a kid growing up at a racetrack at a bull ring in Austin, Texas. I would have never thought playing kick the can. Couldn't wait to go in the pits, get in the race cars afterwards and smell that rubber and smell that oil and go see the wrecked cars and all that shit, doing it in person. I would have never thought that at some point there was going to be a way that I could log on to a computer or one of these or an iPad and just watch shit from all over the place. I challenge you guys. If you haven't been to a local short track in a while, get to one. Get to one because it's really cool stuff. It's really cool to see it in person. But if you can't, check it out on a streaming platform, whether it's Racing America, Flow, Race on Texas. I mean, I can tell you my friends in Florida, Jennifer Brinson and those folks at Sunshine State Racing, those guys do such a fucking amazing job. And they ain't charging you guys. They are not charging you for that. They're trying to keep you involved in the sport. And I think that's what we need to do moving forward in 2024 is take all of the momentum that we have. We got through the pandemic, guys. We got through the pandemic. That could have killed our sport. And I will say, in Major League Sports, NASCAR set the benchmark on how to do this shit. Whether you like them or not, they set the benchmark. And short track and regional racing continues to grow each and every year because of that. We're moving forward. You look at a lot of these different minor league baseballs and hockey and all this. Man, I mean, look at the different racetracks that we see. We're about to do the Chili Bowl. I was just talking about the Dome. These places are jam-packed to the rafters, and they're streaming the shit out of this stuff. And it's a really good time to be a short track racing fan. And it's a really good time to be any kind of race fan. So you guys take that with you for what any of that is worth. It's been a privilege to be a part of this all year with you guys. I look forward to 2024, getting to see you at different racetracks around the country. I look forward to blowing this shit out of the water in Texas. Texas is going to really be a big player. We've got lots of stuff that we're planning to do right here. So you guys have a great holiday. Enjoy the time with the family. Sorry, Southeast friends. Hook 'em horns. We are in the college football playoff. Alabama, we might be playing you again. That's going to be fun. It's been a fun year. It's been great. It's been to be. Like I said, it has been a great 3 years here with Dirty Air. Dirty Air is going to roll on. It's been fun being a part of Racing America. A huge thanks to my friends at CarQuest and Advanced Auto Parts. Of course, Rogers Dab Chevrolet. They've been imperative with the growth of this program. There's Advanced Auto Parts right there. They have been amazing. Of course, on-demand shirts that have come on this year. They have just done so many great things. All of this cool merchandise that they have put together for us. It has really been a great year for Dirty Air. It's been a great year for me. And I look forward to seeing you guys at a racetrack soon. Or I look forward to getting messages from you at the Rodney R on the Twitter. And we're going to keep growing this thing, and we're going to keep rolling. All right, guys. Thank you all. God bless you all. Have a great holiday season. Let's kick ass. 2024. We keep rolling. And remember, clean air is good. Times like this, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern, on Thursdays. Dirty Air, a tad bit better. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We will see you soon.